Good morning, VHL. It's not really the morning, but I'm drinking a coffee. Nabob Colombian roast. I'm eating a bagel. It's blueberry. Do you guys remember Higgins? You know that guy? Hardballing? Well, he lives a hardballer's life. He, about a month ago, he posted an update. Maybe it was a little longer than that. That said that he was having his second blueberry bagel of the day before going to bed, and that was all he had eaten. And I was like, oh yeah, that sucks. That's terrible. And on that uplifting note, welcome to the VHL Pajodcast. I'm joined here with Kyle Snow, who won't talk.
Hey everybody. I'm pushing buttons.
Quiet.
Fuck yourself.
Yes, it takes a lot. And returning from the depths, if you will, I think he came out of a crypt. That's what I hear anyway. We got none other than Vampiro. Chris Miller.
How's it going? How's it going, Ryan? You want to answer me? Dick.
It's going
What a
pretty good.
dick.
Fucking the worst.
Last time I saved your life.
Yeah.
That's true. You did save our life.
After I almost killed you.
Yeah. No, Chris has turned his camera off. Statement made.
He's taking his pants off.
Oh no.
I'm actually putting pants on.
Oh,
Oh,
what a waste.
I'm not really.
He's just reminding us all that he's a ninja.
and as I enjoy this bagel, welcome to the VHL Pajodcast, everyone. So, Chris is back. It's the usual trio.
Yeah.
We've been doing this a long time.
That we have.
So there's shit in the league right now going on.
Yeah.
So
Is there?
I think so. Yeah, it doesn't really have anything related to the sim to really talk about. A little
Oh
bit.
god, I'm not talking about. I'm not doing that.
No, but Chris, I finally sort of don't suck now.
No.
Like, Kyle, welcome
We're
to
not.
Logan Like Life, bud.
We're not talking about the Thunderdome at all.
Oh, I thought we're talking. Is it the sim?
Oh, I thought you said
Yeah.
there was a lot that wasn't related to this, and I thought we were going
There
to
is a lot that's not related to him. No, I mean Thunderdome. Here's a quick thing. Trifecta said a dumb thing, and then more
Okay.
dumb things.
Anyway.
Nobody agreed with him. That's everything that happened. Now you're caught up.
The stuff that isn't related to the sim has to do with Las Vegas.
Not just Las Vegas, Ryan. Something else happened this week that our listeners may or may not know about.
Oh,
I got engaged.
I mean, oh, well, that's obviously, yes, that is not sim related. That's not even VHL related. Like, that's
Isn't it though?
awesome. It's awesomeness of Kyle Snow. You know what, Kyle?
Is
I'll
she
let
in
you
the
take
league,
it.
Kyle? No, she's not.
She might be in the
The
league.
floor, but you know what, Kyle? The floor is yours.
Thank you.
Let's talk about this engagement. What you know what the audience, and I'm gonna just pretend to be the listener here. We want you to walk us through. Like, I'm really eager to know the exact process, the steps, the words that were used. Like, lay it on us.
I'm gonna go puke.
Fuck. Chris, you can't keep going to that gimmick. He's actually
And to be completely honest, I'm actually legitimately curious because I like Kyle enough to know how awkward it was. Shane's story about his was awesome.
Oh, is it?
Silly
Like,
because everyone gets nervous. Yeah, he was at like a park and he was like, I'm spoiling this for listeners, but he was talking about how like he was shaking and nervous. It's like it's a nervous thing. It's a nervous thing to do.
yeah, it's super hard. And like I knew she was gonna say yes, but it was still really difficult. So, first of all, just fucking hiding a ring for that long when you live in a tiny apartment is not easy because like there's not that many places to put things. So I had to keep on like moving it around. That wasn't very easy, but no, I knew that everybody was on board. I
Did
like
you have
asked
any
her-
key hiding spots? What were your key spots?
Well, I brought it with me. Like I only had to hide it for about a day and a half, and one of those days we weren't even at home. So I buy it the morning, Monday morning, and we didn't see each other before I went to work. She worked during the day, and then I went to work, and then she came home. So I brought it with me to work so that she couldn't find it. I brought it home and I slipped it into my jacket pocket where she wouldn't look. And then I slipped it in the morning. I snuck out and slipped it out of my jacket pocket into my pants pocket. And then I realized that was stupid because I had like a giant square sticking out of my pocket that could have been nothing else. Because those boxes, I'm going to actually go grab it because it's right next to me. They're fucking huge. Let me just show you guys how big this box is.
I mean, they're definitely big. I've bought rings for my girlfriend before. So,
Like, this thing's not fucking small.
oh yeah.
Like, you put that in a pants pocket, like it's either
It sticks out.
either I am I'm very happy to see her, and I need to call a doctor because I have a square penis, or like, this thing's not small. So I ended up putting it like in my jacket pocket on the side away from her.
Yeah.
Because we went to her hometown, to her parents' place to see. We had like some stuff to do there, and I wanted to do it there because the steps like in front of her parents' house is where we met for the first time. So that's where I did it. Like her at the top of the steps, me at the bottom, and it was like this nice moment. And her family was around us. But going into that was like the fucking hardest thing. Like Shane wasn't wrong. Like I knew she was going to say yes, but I didn't sleep at all the night before, and I barely ate that entire day. Like palms were sweaty, knees were weak, arms were heavy.
There's this question you got to ask her, and you're not really going to feel comfortable until you know the answer to that question. That's, basically when you decide to, propose to someone, you obviously want to get married to them. So it's kind of a big deal. It's either a yes or no, and the yes or no changes whatever answer it is. It'll change.
Yeah, because like you can't go back if they say no. Like it's like, oh, like that's an awkward car ride home.
Yeah, that's not just like it's not just an awkward car ride home. Like it depends on what happened. Did she say no in a way that like is the relationship over? Like
yeah, exactly.
There's so much hanging in the balance of that one question. It's ridiculous, I know, but so of course you can't sleep because you're just like, I wish I could just ask you right now. And
yeah, that was exactly how I felt. But you got to do it right, dude.
Yeah, indeed.
Yeah, so she did say yes, and that's pretty awesome. One thing that has been a bit of an issue is that she keeps forgetting there's a ring on her hand. So because she always has rings in her other hand. So usually she would use her left hand whenever she would want to do something delicate and not, scratch me in the face. But that's been an issue because she's like, oh, I'll use my hand that doesn't have a ring on it. Oh, wait, this is the biggest ring. And then it's like, yeah, both of us have woken up with wounds that we weren't expecting from it so far. Because,
what you're saying is the ring
diamonds,
is it's like a weapon.
Diamonds are kind of hard. I don't know if you knew that.
But they're forever.
Fucking kill yourself, Ryan. Holy shit. I was like, oh, he's going to do it. I knew you were going to do it.
Yeah, of course, dude. No, you don't miss it. So this is relevant too, by the way, for the VHL specifically because VHL is loaded with a shit ton of married guys. So let's hear it. Green, Steezy, Kendrick. The list goes on. Let's hear some proposal stories. Let's hear everyone's
in the comments below.
Hear everyone's dirt. No, this is going on the VHL, right? So.
No, I know. Yeah, and like not to hijack the thing, but like fuck you guys. Like that's gonna happen hopefully once. Hopefully only once. But in my life.
I hate to be the negative Nancy here, since I will say personally I believe in your relationship, but statistically the odds aren't in your favor.
Statistically, well, they're not in my favor. They're just even.
Indeed. Statistically you're flipping a coin right now. Two-Face will determine your fate.
Yep, exactly. Thank you.
Divorced or married. Oh.
Well, and then, it could go the other way too. Like if she dies prematurely and I get married again, it's not like it's like we parted bad ways. But also, I could die early and then I'm never going to get married again.
That's true.
Any of those things could happen.
So that's a win, actually. That's a heads. The tails is if you get divorced.
Yeah, that sounds like a win. That sounds like a really big win.
You're dead, but you win the argument. You never got divorced. It worked. Hopefully, you're right.
Yeah.
All right.
So yeah, I didn't mean to hijack the thing, but like fucking whatever. That was a big deal. Fuck all y'all.
It's not hijacking. You're Kyle Snow. You've been on the VHL Pajodcast for like 5 years.
Yeah. Also, I think Chris is getting an important call from his school. He was waiting on that, so he couldn't avoid it. He's been waiting for like 4 hours. That's okay. We can carry the show.
So now back to actual league things. So there was the Las Vegas situation.
Yeah. So what happened in Las Vegas, Ryan? Wait. Can you tell us though? Because shouldn't it stay in Vegas?
Oh, I don't know. I haven't actually talked to Robbie. Robbie's a traitor. That's why I traded him away, right? Even though I'm the traitor, I'm the one who initiated that. To be fair, though, I did it in the best way possible where he couldn't blame me, right? I made it a Robbie move. So then what is he supposed to do? Like, that's how if there was anyone who proved how to masterfully handle the Robbie, I think I proved.
Well, and you gave him the choice, ultimately, didn't he? Like, you said, like, you can waive this if you want to, or you cannot. Like, it's your call, brah.
And then we won the cup anyway.
Yeah. Fuck you, Robbie. Well, to be fair, it's not like he could have known how shit his goalie was going to be in the playoffs.
You're right. But his goalie's no longer shit. But speaking of something that is shit, the VHLM and Las Vegas.
Ooh, shots fired.
VHLM is the worst league in history.
Oh, it sucks so hard.
It's so bad right now. So what happened, for those of you who are unfamiliar, Steve-O and Nuck both basically said that they were going to retire if Vegas didn't trade them. Steve-O went as far as to retire his player in the.
Did he ever actually unretire? I don't remember ever seeing him post about unretiring. I think he might still be retired.
He might be.
Let's
Steve-O's
back.
thing had nothing to do with Robbie. I thought it did. That's what people were saying. But I mean, I don't know if I should trust the rabble around the boards.
Fuck the world retires. Fuck this.
Yeah,
fuck
there's no
you.
on retirement, but he might have said something privately. Will was giving him the option in the thread about on retiring.
Yeah.
Well, what team is he on now? They were traded. Long story short, they were traded. The forced trade that happened was between Las Vegas and UConn. And I say forced trade because this is exactly what happened. Robbie refused to trade them. In one case, fucking fucked, who is Nuck, because that's his player name.
No, his player name is changed to Key Perot.
Oh, well, he's a goalie, or he was a goalie, and he wasn't getting starts, and that was one of his big issues because Robbie was instead starting his own goalie, Werner von Axelberry.
Yeah, well, don't they have like 3 goalies on that team too, like something like that?
Yeah, they have a lot of goalies. And anyway, this was a forced trade, so they went to Las Vegas for Alexander Wolf. Vegas received, and then the VHL rights for a mistake. Who's never playing in the VHL?
No,
again.
isn't he?
Doesn't he have
too much TP?
Yes, and the VHLM rights for Fridnish Kurgars, who is also never again playing.
Yeah, that's why? What the fuck was the point of that? Yeah, Kriegers has 222 TP, so he can't.
So I don't know why those were added.
And Mistake has, just for trolls maybe, Mistake has 350, so yep, definitely not playing in the VHLM again.
So yeah, there was a forced trade due to all this drama, and I think it's just further proof that this drama happened because Vegas had so many quality players. That's how money they hoarded, that even some of the players on their team didn't want to play for them because they weren't getting any. They wouldn't see any action.
You're not on Vegas, right? You're the. I can't remember. One of you and Chris is.
Chris is on Vegas. I'm on Oslo.
Yeah. Also, VHLM GMs are doing a fucking terrible job this season. There are 2 well-respected members who have created players 2 to 3 days ago that have not gotten offers from any teams.
Maybe nobody has room. And maybe the teams that do have room, what's the point? Those guys are just going to come and suck.
Well,
I mean, it doesn't matter how much TP they have.
Yeah, I mean, that's unfortunate.
The difference is bad. Like, it's real bad in the VHLM right now.
Oh, for sure. But, like, yeah. But, like, there were offers made for Leleno Malenko, who was made on Tuesday, and Aaron, who was made on Wednesday. But Jackson Weeks and Mr. Shakedown, who were also made on Wednesday, no offers.
So you're saying that you're feeling shots are fired at you.
And Moholt.
Well, yeah, Moholt. For sure. I mean, he just created a Hall of Fame player, his last player.
Well, and like I don't feel that bad for me because like I don't actually give a fuck. Like I have a player that's good. Like I don't give, well, not good, but you know, like it's relevant. Like if Mr. Shakedown doesn't get games right now, who gives a fuck? Like, oh no, my VHLM stats are going to be bad. But like Moholt doesn't have another player, so like he's just sitting here with his dick in his hands.
Position because as a free agent right now, you don't have to worry about whether or not you make achievement tracker. Whereas if you started the season in the VHLM and because of shitty shit, like I think I'll make achievement tracker, but there are people who are active and have good TP counts on other teams in the VHLM who aren't going to make achievement tracker this season because of how bad the VHLM this year. Like it's pretty fucking stupid.
Yeah. So ditch the VHLM.
Indeed. Anyway, Chris, we were just talking about the Vegas situation. 2 players forced traded. There was drama. The league ended up having to get involved, or the VHLM commissioners did, to force a trade that sent fucking fucked and fuck the world.
No, it's Key Perot and fuck the world.
The trade thread still says fucking fucked, so you know.
Yeah, but the trade thread says it.
I don't believe you can change your name. You can, but I'm a non-believer, so I'm gonna call him fucking fucked.
Okay, so going back, you will always refer to not Alex, Meg's player Derek Bugard as Alec Moose.
Yep, there you go. His name's Ron Artest. I don't give a shit what he thinks. Meta World Peace. Get the fuck out of here.
But didn't he actually make the player Meta or Ron World Peace though?
Or yeah, but
so the player name was right. Oh, are you talking about like the actual person? You're not going to call him Meta World Peace.
Yeah, he called himself Meta World Peace, or then he changed it to something else. New World Order. He changed it to for a bit.
So are you not going to respect Shane's last name change?
Listen,
you still have yourself muted, by the way, Chris. I don't know if that was on purpose or not. Just want to make sure. He's nodding.
Okay, so that's on purpose.
Anyway. Nobody can see him.
I'm mostly just trolling. Anyway,
yeah, no, I know you're trolling. I was just like, I'm poking a hole in your troll.
Anyway, yes, that's what happened, Chris. It sent the it sent those two to Yukon for basically one player, Alexander Wolf.
I know
Hey.
I'm on the team.
The rights, the VHLM rights to Mistake and Friedman's Keegergers. So that's pretty good too. Those guys combined for like 560 TP.
Yeah. So it's a stupid situation. It was dumb, and I think the fact that the league had to get involved and force a trade on a 4-team league or 5-team league, whatever fucking number it is,
Yeah,
dumb
stupid.
number. I think it's bad.
It is bad.
I think
Every single party of it was an absolute idiot throughout it. So
yeah, except I'm gonna go back to the thread and find. You guys keep going. I'll do my thing in a second.
Yeah, I mean you're right. The way it was all handled was bad, Chris. But like by everyone, including the members, you're talking about as well. How Nuck and Steve-O handled it. And it's just,
I mean, Nuck signed agreeing to play as backup and then started whining about not being a starter or not playing more games. Well, you should just sign somewhere else then. This is what I hate about like chasing cups in the VHLM. Like,
yeah,
you could you're a goalie, sign somewhere else instead of causing it. I get it. You're not happy, but then you knew coming in. It's not like you were told you're going to start every game of the year. You knew he was the backup.
What was Steve-O's issue?
That Robbie was kind of giving him shit and didn't want to trade him because Nuck was whining a lot. But I looked at it more as Robbie posturing.
So Steve-O's issue was with Nuck?
No, he was with Robbie because he wouldn't trade Nuck.
Oh, yeah, okay, yes, but then Steve-O's issues with Nuck because he wants Nuck gone because he's whining. So now that he just got traded with Nuck.
No. He was upset because Robbie wouldn't trade Nuck when Nuck wanted out.
I see. That makes sense.
So I'm getting slight audio issues. Chris is like significantly louder than Ryan, and he wasn't before. So I'm not sure if I did something, or is your mic like super close to you, Chris? Or I don't.
It's Chris isn't.
No, okay, it got quieter now. That's weird.
Well, I was quite loud in what I was talking. So.
Oh, okay. No, it didn't sound like shouting loud. It sounded like it was unnatural causes, but it's probably that was it. Okay, my bad. But whatever. I thought we were having audio issues. We're not. It's the VHL one. Who gives a fuck?
The VHL people do. They're really offended at our lack of production.
Well, to be fair, how many? Oh yeah, because the old ones where Ryan would be like, "Hello, my name is Ryan Power," and I was like, in every cast, it was like.
Also, my voice is never that low.
No, I know.
It might be low quality, but like,
come on. That's what everybody talked about. Remember, like every cast was like, "Oh, I have bleeding ears because I have to turn the volume up for Devise, and then Jericho's too loud." Fuck you, Corco.
Boom's eardrums.
No, Boom actually never complained, except for when I like screamed pew pews, which was like, all right.
Boom's gonna respond. I complained every fucking time because you pew pewed every cast anyway. As Chris said, I think he's right. It's kind of a weird situation handled poorly by everyone, but I just think it's a situation that's avoided if the system of the VHLM wasn't the way it was. To Chris's point, this happens when people get chasing cups in the VHLM because the VHLM is structured where if you chase cups, it hurts the way the league works because of how it's structured.
I don't mind chasing cups, but you have to not complain then when you're not getting the time when you know, especially as a goalie of all positions. If you want to play forward, you're probably not going to care if you play second line.
Right? Actually, Chris, I've been meaning to talk to you about this. We need to change the Stockholm lines because I'm kind of sick of playing second line.
As I was saying, when really valuable players,
shots fired.
Like
I'm just saying, Kyle.
In the sense,
he would have never let you change players with Braxton, but Connor Lowe got to switch to forward. Once you prove it, it changes everything.
I mean, he would have never. Connor Lowe switched to forward because he was asked to. Braxton would have never switched positions because Braxton didn't give a fuck. Also,
Connor Lowe offered actually.
No, he said yeah, and also Xander Finn was a defenseman originally, Ryan, and he switched to forward. Oh, I don't know if you remember that.
Still playing second line.
Well, yeah, because I didn't want to play.
Hey, when you guys are now getting the rub of the Logan Light curse, I'm gonna fucking.
No, I'm doing okay now.
Welcome to my world.
How is he's almost a point per game, Ryan? That's something Lake never did.
Yeah, 41 points in 52 games.
Well, Blake did that as a defenseman, oddly enough.
Yeah, and what season of his career? In what season of his career?
The last one.
Yeah. Okay, this is my second, so fuck yourself.
Last one, I don't remember.
I'm pretty sure that this season I've gotten more points than Logan Like got in his entire career.
I don't think that's actually the case.
It's not, but the fact that you have to think about it for a second is kind of great.
Listen, what was it his first season? 9? I think.
Yeah.
It was an abysmal low number. And then the second season was like, improvement, 20. It's like, ooh.
Okay, so I still have more than your first 2 seasons put together in my
Absolutely,
season.
first 3 probably. It wasn't until like season 5 that I was like 4 or 5 that it was. He was just like, look, set 65 points or something. Like, oh my god, I'll take it.
Yeah.
It's better than
Although
nothing.
I'm going to stop taking shots at Logan Like because I don't want Ryan to prematurely retire him because that's what we know that logical people do when their players are getting picked on for sim results.
Okay, yeah, Logan Like's retired already.
I know.
Yeah,
that was yeah.
Okay. So yeah, the Vegas situation, I think, is we've all said in one way or another, just evidence that the system isn't designed correctly. In an ideal system, GMs would be able to compete, and the act of them competing would create more activity, encourage new members, and create parity, which is possible to do. We do it in the VHL, but I just think the big issue is players only are allowed to spend a season and a half. They're not allowed, but that's usually all people spend time there. That's just, it doesn't work like that, in my opinion.
I also don't
It
understand.
fucks it all up.
Chris, you may have a little more insight into this. Like, I think it was dumb of those guys to get pissy and want to leave, but like, why wouldn't Robbie just trade them? Like, if you want to, like, who gives a fuck? He has like 700
Robbie.
players.
Are you fucking kidding me? Why wouldn't Robbie just? Is like, you can open a million sentences that way, and the answer is always it's Robbie. You haven't talked to Robbie much, have you, Kyle?
No.
Robbie does things for Robbie. That's always how Robbie's worked. He's not illogical or anything like that, but he role plays everything in the VHL, even being GM. What do you think his whole Vegas thing has been about? Like, that's, yeah. Go ahead, Chris, if you have anything to say there. Sorry.
No, not really. That's pretty much it.
No one here
It's
hates Robbie, I'm assuming.
I don't hate Robbie. It's just that's Robbie.
Yeah.
And honestly, if they actually asked nicely, he probably would have got traded.
Okay, so they never.
Instead, he shit talked. Instead, he shit talked in the locker room and on the forum, and got all pissy when he could have just been like, "Yeah, I kind of changed my mind. You know, do you mind trading me?"
Okay. Yeah, see that this is insight that the rest of us don't have. Like
I mean, honestly, I'm not much of an insight. I don't really read that locker room because as soon as it started happening, I said, "Fuck this team. I'm not caring about it anymore."
Yeah,
because I'm not gonna. It's my second player. It's a VHLM, and people are whining like their lives are like gonna be destroyed. Yeah. Like, get the fuck out of here. Like I get it, you're pissed, but gosh, like. Maybe just like keep it to PMs or something because you ruin everyone else's experience when you do it that way.
Yeah. See, my assumption would be the natural situation if I don't want to play for a team is I politely ask to not play for a team. I have a good example of this. Shortly after the draft, when I got picked up by Frank's team, I was like, I don't want to fucking play for Quebec. I was like, Frank, could you please trade me? I really don't want to play for Quebec. And then he was like, oh, really? Like, yeah, okay. And then he just did it. And now, like, I don't know if he feels the same way, but like, I don't have any issues with Frank. I didn't have any issues at the time. I just didn't want to play for his team, like, because of the situation they were in at the time. And then, but like, I have no ill will towards Frank. He did me a solid there. So good dude. And in the future, I'm not going to be like, I don't want to fucking play for Frank's team. Whereas if I was on a team and like the GM did that, I'd be like, nope, not again. Like if Robbie wants to be a VHL GM in the future, like there's almost no chance those guys will ever go to his team, which he may or may not care about, but you know. That's not the way business is done, boys.
Mm-hmm.
That's not the way business is done.
Gotta get those dollar bills.
So I'm just looking at something. Like, there's another thing that I was considering. When you look at the and this was bound to happen no matter what. They reduced the number of teams in the VHLM. But when you look at the scores from last season and seasons past, people with high TP counts obviously should be leading the league in scoring. But right now, the person who leads the lead in scoring in 52 games, and we're only 20 games away from the completion, has 88 points. Werner Reinhold is in the top 10 in scoring with 55 points. That's exactly a point per game.
That's pretty bad, yeah.
The top 10 in scoring last season was Sean Gretzky with 87 points with 73 games. The top person in scoring had 170 points. No one's even get close to that this year. The VHLM used to always be way high scoring. And now this is going to. I'm just saying this is going to have an impact on achievement trackers across the board. All scoring is down because obviously getting rid of bad teams means the teams aren't going to be, stats aren't going to get inflated. You could argue as much, but and I like some people think that's a more reflective version of the member base, but it's just not. I just don't think it balances right. It just.
I've always been of the
Messy.
opinion that the systems don't work well together. If we do something that's positive for the pro league, it usually ends up being bad for the VHLM. Those markets don't work together very well.
Yeah, well, this is just a case of what they did by removing teams in the VHLM. This is just impacting that, right? Because now teams are playing each other more. So if one team is good, that team plays more teams, right? So if they have a good goalie, well, they're going to get shut down more. That's just how it works.
Yeah, we all know my opinion on this. We just need to dump the whole VHLM, and I think we're approaching a point where it's just going to end up happening on its own. Like if we keep on removing teams,
I don't know. I've talked a bit about in my last Meg article that didn't get published about. It didn't get published because
I know. I just the way you put it.
I posted it as a media spot.
Yeah, because I think I read that and it was information that I think people should read because
it's like I was basically saying if we want to keep a VHLM or some type of experience, then it needs to be more of an AHL. It needs to be players need to stay in there for more than a season. Like players should have to. We have 2 players now. That should be okay. Everyone's first player could be like I was saying. I think I might have said this on Cast 2 before. Everyone's first player could instantly go to the VHLM or go to the VHL or use the system we currently use where it's like you get a season in the minors. But then when you create a second player, you'd have to create them under a different structure or something so that they stay in the league longer, because without a supplement of players that keep that consistent, you're always going to have high swings of GMs competing and then not competing. So when they're competing, they want to acquire as many players as possible, period. That's what it means to compete. And when they're not competing, they want to sell as many players as possible. So you're never going to have balance, even with 4 teams. You're just going to have 2 good teams and 2 shit teams, right? Like it just like it doesn't work that way.
And I think we agree too. You gave the suggestion because you were forced to try to play devil's advocate. We agree that it was pretty complicated to make it even like maybe work. So
absolutely, yeah.
I
think a better idea would be just to unite with the VHL. But I mean, like I said, some people really like the role playing of I'm a minor leaguer. I'm going to become a pro player from like it's a very hockey thing, right? Like
it absolutely is. But it feels like most people want to get out of the VHLM as quickly as possible. I think that's a fair thing, right? Like,
well, yeah, except for the people who vehemently defend it because they like that experience, right? That's what basically what I'm saying. And those people have valid opinions about liking that experience. There's nothing wrong with
I don't think there's anything wrong with liking the experience. I think that but I just think that like unless we can find a way to do it properly, I don't think it's worth keeping around for that minority.
Yeah. We'll see. Like the movement in terms of canning it all together is very limited. There's not actually that many people who have voiced the saying that they think it should be canned. Like a lot of people are, I wouldn't say happy with it, but just kind of living with it, I guess you should say.
Yeah.
Chris, anything to add or say about the VHLM? What is your thoughts? We haven't really gauged your thoughts much. Are you in favor of removing it? What is your kind of?
I don't really have a hot take on it, honestly. It's kind of something, as I've stated in the BOG, that I'm kind of impartial and neutral. I don't know. I'll see what people say. I kind of wait for people to make arguments and then decide, but I'm not really for or against it in any way.
So you're saying none of the arguments have swayed you enough right now. You're kind of still
not even close.
So do you believe that there's a problem with the VHLM that needs fixing?
There's been a problem with the VHLM for about How
since
many seasons are we in now? 50.
Yeah, 54. Like since we've been in the league, that's what I say. Since I feel like since you and I've been on BOG, Chris, and been.
But I also don't think any
always going VHLM. Like it's always been an issue.
I think to get rid of the VHLM is not a one season thing. Like I had somebody tell me we should get rid of it now and start it out next year, and I'm like,
I never even said that. I was saying like we need to start planning now because this is like 3 seasons down the line when we do this.
We'd have to come up with a really good rollout and execution strategy to have the most minimal impact.
You literally have to change every rule in the league.
Yep. No, guys, it's gonna be really easy. And then in 2 years we're gonna cut. And then we're gonna cut.
Why guys, would we have to change every rule?
Removing the VHLM.
Pretty much have to change almost everything.
Removing the VHLM is really complicated. Nobody could have known it would be this complicated.
Yeah. But why would like salary contracts have to change, for example?
Why would salary contracts have to change?
Like
you're gonna have different numbers of players on teams.
There's a lot of reasons. That's one of them. So you either like something has to change your salaries is my point, right? You have to either change the cap. You have to right now we have it where VHLM players can make $3 million a year so they don't get too far behind the actual top end guys. So when you're in the VHLM, you can make $3 million a year without it costing against the cap. If we just roll out everyone in the VHL, all of a sudden they're getting a lot farther away from the stars because they don't have that money to make up for it down the road. Yeah. Now we've kind of counteracted that a little bit with the player store by making it not quite as easy to get TPE from it. But with that being said, you still kind of have to do something there to tweak it. I'm not saying a full vast change, but
everything has to be looked at.
Everything
pretty
has
much
to be
almost
looked at to
everything
make sure, looked at to make sure it fits. Yeah.
No,
that's fair. That's
I
fair,
agree completely because we're gonna have this happen like a season and a half from now. Be like, oh, dudes, we totally didn't even think about this one thing, and then like that's why we need like a 3-season rollout for this.
Yeah, but
thing,
like
right?
much like Project 2,
it needs to be more than the blue team doing it.
You know,
the blue team can't do that by themselves. Yeah.
Yeah,
we also
like
plan expansion seasons in advance. Like every time we do something big, we usually prep it ahead of time. Anybody who said like we should release it next season has brain damage.
If we were to cut the VHLM, it would obviously be seasons of the BOG and anyone who was willing to help out, pushing the ideas all together to make sure that our system works. And as Chris said, we're able to take on the new mass of players and have a system where as new members create, they get a number of TPE that fits well with the system and allows them to have a player that isn't just automatic garbage, like that at least can play competently and get an experience.
And there's certain things that you have to make
making sure that still fits in with the balance of season length, career length. Yeah, like there's a lot.
Sure, and you have to make things that are decisions that don't necessarily have a right or wrong answer, but people are going to have strong opinions on. Like, do you expand or do you have third lines?
Some people still think we take 2 teams out. That's what some people still think.
Right, exactly. But we would have to
say we do not expand.
No, I know, but like there's an argument to be made, and it's like you have
the actual number count of the VHLM players that would be added isn't really that high because
I don't think it is either. But we would have to still look at the numbers
anyway, right? So we still do see those numbers just in a season less. So it's not like you're actually adding players, some players because some are already coming. It's just you're speeding up them getting to the league. But
sure, but we would have to check the numbers.
But obviously, there still are players are going to be added. It's just what is that number, and how well is that fit with the teams, right?
Yeah, no. I'm just saying, like we would have to. There would be that would be a discussion, and if somebody has a really strong opinion, one way or the other, like we would have to. It's going to be slowed down into debate. This is a multi-season thing, absolutely.
Yeah. But I mean, the sooner we get on with this process, the better, as far as I'm
concerned. That's same. We could be halfway done by now if we'd done this when I wanted to start.
If we all, one thing we all agree on here is that the VHLM as it's constructed had too many problems for us to keep trying to band-aid fix it like we have been. Like we all have said it in some way or another here. This has been a problem since all of us have been in the league and since we've been doing this, which is years, like real life years, guys.
Yeah.
And at a certain point, you have to, even if it means keeping the VHLM, whatever. At a certain point, as a group, we have to start from the ground up again with this system, with the VHLM. And see what works, because what isn't it just doesn't.
That's what we call this episode, the VHLM. It just doesn't.
Yeah. All right. That's VHLM talk. Maybe we'll stop talking about the VHLM one day.
Well, if it just stops existing, probably. Naturally.
The lotto happened. We recorded it. It was a fun time.
We did. That was a fun time. Except I didn't win anything. So fuck you, Ryan.
No, sorry.
Couldn't have thrown me an extra ballot for giving you a hand.
Joining me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Prick.
I'll give you an extra ballot next time out. Don't worry.
Sounds good.
I'll come up with a reason.
Biased as fuck. I love it. It's gonna be like Dumbledore with the House Cup. He's like 20 ballots for Gryffindor.
Basically, yeah. Oh, these are the favorites.
Yeah. 34 ballots for Chris because he's a swell guy. Some stuff.
How long have we been going? Are we getting close?
Half an hour.
Yeah. Wow.
35 minutes technically.
This season is rolling. Like we reported on last week when we had none other than Joey Kendrick join us. The season is rolling fast now, and we're kind of getting through the grind, and now to the point where it's like, hey, playoffs are coming. We kind of have an idea. There's still some battles going on. Notable battles that are still going on. Technically, there is a battle for the Victory Cup going on between Quebec and Stockholm.
Yeah.
Both New York and Helsinki are certainly too far back at this point. It would take something crazy to happen for either.
Yeah, it's not clinched to those two teams, but it's incredibly unlikely to see something happen with the Americans or the Titans.
The Mute and the Americans have both confirmed their spot in the playoffs, which we all knew going into the season anyway. And oddly enough, the Legion are only 7 points ahead of the
I
Wranglers.
feel like the Vikings are pretty close to clinching first place in the conference as well.
Oh, yeah. The Vikings have a way bigger lead. The lead in North America, by the way, for Quebec over New York is 9 points. So New York could overtake Quebec for the top spot, but it's not likely.
First Pajodcast.
With 20 games left, that's 40 points up for grabs. So it's not, there isn't a little amount of points left, but I mean, with trends being what they are, both teams are probably going to do okay down the stretch, and Quebec thus far has proven to do a little better, right? That's just how it's looked. Europe, like Kyle said, like you guys are probably close to clinching it. You guys got a huge lead.
We're up 16 points, and there's 20 games left.
Yeah. So yeah, not clinched, but we're not. I think we're heavily the favorites. I think that's fair to say.
Yeah, that's for sure. To clinch that, and Riga has a pretty good lead on the third place spot in that conference. They got 18 points over Davos. I actually kind of thought Davos would have more of a playoff spot this season. Their roster looked a little better, but it turns out all you need is
Love
Titan Kronos, who's on Quebec, so not there. Riga has Fredrik Kringars and Gutna Petnis and a bunch of other players that are doing really good for them.
Didn't they also pick up the Koprokov goalie?
They did. They also picked up
Toast made his way back.
He made his way back to Riga.
I have to think the Vikings are on. If I'm not mistaken, the Vikings right now are on a near record pace. Obviously, not for the best wins ever, but I gotta think they're pretty close.
Yeah, 46 wins in 52 games is not much.
46, 4-2. That's got to be up there for right now.
It's a pretty great start. It's pretty crazy to think that in 52 games, 3 teams already have over 40 wins.
Wait, Chris, didn't the Calgary Wranglers go?
Well, they went 69-3.
Yeah.
However, I'm about to go look at it because I got it open here anyway.
Yeah. But I mean, like, just to Chris's point, Stockholm's currently 46-4-2, Quebec's 43-6-3, and New York's 40-12-0. So you have 3 teams who literally 52 games have won 40. Like they've won such a high percentage of it. Like,
if Stockholm wins 17 of their next 20 games, which is not outrageous by any means,
no,
most winning team of all time in a season.
Wait, really?
Second in wins is 63. No one has cracked 60 since season 40 New York. Many teams have cracked between 60 and 63. And Stockholm's played their backup already half the amount of games needed, so that's helpful too. Now it doesn't play all 8 still, like some do.
Yeah, although some teams don't have as much of a problem with playing their backup, like, Empty Power.
Yeah.
Hey, Empty Power just had a really bad game, but other than that, he actually has 5 shutouts in like 7 appearances or 6 to 8 appearances or something. So I'll take it.
It'll be curious to see though if we can keep up that pace. I mean, I don't think there'll be much over 63 though. I think that would be
Well, there's 20 games left. Let's take a look at your schedule. Let's
It's a bit of a mixed bag. We haven't played any teammate games, so.
Excellent.
Yeah. So upcoming, you have games against the Bears, the Legion, the Dynamo, and the Express. Those should all be pretty much wins.
The thing is, we've handled.
Cologne has a sneaky opportunity. Marcus King has stolen a couple games this season.
We've had no issues.
Not against us.
Quebec, we had trouble.
I just mean against competing teams. Like,
we haven't really had an issue
against us, but like he's had good performances, like performances where you're shooting him with 50 shots and only get 3 goals, right? So depending on how the game goes, like things.
Correct me if I'm wrong, Chris, but the only teams that we've lost to have been Quebec and Helsinki, right?
Correct.
Like games at all?
Yes.
No, Toronto.
Oh, a one-off game against Toronto, but we've never lost to New York.
Oh yeah, Toronto beat you guys 4-2. What? Say what?
Was that one of the games where Stogie was in?
No, DeGrasse let in 4 goals on 22 shots. That's what happened.
DeGrasse.
Yeah, that's the thing, right? And Ironside let in 2. Like that's really all it takes against a non-competing team. Those type of asterisks, those type of asterisks happen. They just do.
Oh yeah.
So you might see one of those in the last 20 games against a Cologne or a Toronto or whatever.
Ironside stopped 45 and 47 too.
Yeah, he was stellar. But I mean, a lot of those young teams have goalies of the future, but that's kind of it, right?
The thing is we've, and this is why I'm confident in Stockholm, is we're 6-0 against the Americans.
Yep. You
I
guys
haven't
have
really
played
had an
very
issue.
nice.
Quebec, we have lost twice, but we've also won 4 games against them.
Yep.
Helsinki, we are 5-1-1.
So you actually have a
Um,
really good shot at winning your last 20 games then, because of the the other 3 competing teams, you've played Quebec and New York 6 times, and you've played Helsinki 7 times. So you only have
and
5 games
like I
left in
said,
20 against competing teams. So provided
like I
you
said,
don't
as long as
struggle
we
against,
only don't lose more than 3. Technically, if we win 17 of our last 20, we're tied with season 5 Seattle for the second most wins in a single season with 63.
and I mean, you could just win all 20 and have 66. I mean, that's not
Yeah, and that puts us 3 back of the all-time record, which is 69-3, which was the Wranglers in season 1.
Although they did not win a cup.
Who
Fun fact.
lost? Fun fact to the Vasteris Iron Eagles.
Vasteras Iron Eagles, who went on to become the Madrid Thunder, who went on to become the Vasteras Iron Eagles, who went on to become the Stockholm Vikings.
There we go.
Yeah,
which is us.
I didn't think
Who
we'd
went on
have,
to become.
I didn't think we'd have this good of a season. Like I thought we were good, but I thought
Look
Helsinki
at our
was in
second
close. Just, I mean, it's been. Who the fuck is Adele Batine who just added me on Skype? Not adding you. Decline.
Go fuck yourself, Adele Batine.
Yeah, Batine. Get out of here.
That's gonna be like Steezy or something. Just like
you just made the list, Adele.
just make the list, bitch.
And I mean, there's a lot of other things that are kind of interesting right now. The Vikings, Rhett DeGraff. What's the goals against average record?
No idea, Chris.
Because he's at 1.40. I gotta imagine that's close.
Oh, and it's crazy. What again? Another craziness. The goalie records could be
Again.
If you look at it's not just DeGraff, right?
No,
Sky's
it's
at
not.
1.38.
Yeah.
Pollock's at 1.47.
The
Like, there's so many goalies.
The record's Weinstein with 1.35. But still, like, that's pretty
not
close.
far off. Like you get a couple.
Yeah, but the fact, like all 3 of those players I just listed probably feature top 10, right? Like that's crazy. Like that's crazy. Yeah. Goals are low. They're hard to come by right now.
And how many shutouts does Holik have?
14.
No, he's probably not gonna get that though. He had that great start. I was wondering if he'd catch up because Clegane got 22 and 51.
But he still has lots of games left to play.
Yeah, but that's 8 shutouts.
He opened the season with fucking 5 in a row, wasn't it?
It's just not likely, is what I'm saying.
That's true. But he has only played 44 games, so he can play another 20. Power has played 8 and had 5 shutouts too. Like New York has had a lot of shutouts this season, 19 shutouts. And it's not against competing teams. Like apparently when we play bad teams, our goalies are just like, we got this. 6-0? Okay.
It's been a weird year for shutouts too. Like even just not even looking at Holik, there's 4 goalies with at least 13 shutouts this year.
Yeah, it's a heavy shutout season. I think it really speaks that the non-competing teams this year have more goalies than they do like offensive players. So even when shot totals are low, like usually when they do finally get a goal and it's not a shutout, it's like a CPU player, and you're like, oh, okay.
Yeah, technically, at this moment, we're gonna have guaranteed 4 players who will be in the top 10 added for shutouts. Because currently tied for 6th all time in a single season is 14.
Oh, and Holik and Sky are gonna have more than 14. There's 20 games left.
All 4 will probably have more than 14.
Yeah, Moon and DeGraff even, because they're both at 13.
Yeah, on all likelihood. So it's been a pretty nuts season for records and stuff. I mean, that's pretty impressive. And I'm not trying to toot my own team's horn, but I'm going to because it's earned. It'd be pretty impressive if the Vikings are 2nd all time in wins. That is a number that hasn't really even become close to touched in quite some time.
Although I think we could say, Chris, that we don't want to go the same route of the season 1 Calgary Wranglers, right?
Well, I would agree with that.
Yeah.
But if someone does beat us, we all know they're going to be the new cursed team. So.
Oh, absolutely.
We pass the curse on. And then we go on to win like 7 cups like Calgary did.
Yeah, exactly. I'm pretty sure that's how that works.
Well, I don't know. New York's probably not going to feature on the they won't be least goals for total. Maybe. It's really unlikely though.
Pajodcast?
Yeah. I'm just gonna keep making that pun.
Yeah.
Oh, that's wins. I want so the least goals for scored in a season is 81 by Davos in season 40. But I mean, from there, I mean, New York is obviously probably going to feature in the top 10. Stockholm might as well, because Stockholm's only given up 77 goals, New York's given up 70, and Quebec's given up 76. So on top of all the goalies playing great, which is obviously going to impact the goals against numbers for the teams are really low.
Yeah.
With 20 games left, like tied for 6 is 101. I'd be shocked if New York gave up 101 goals. If New York gave up another 31 goals in the last 20 games.
Mhm.
Yeah, and like individual stats too haven't been nearly as like offensively haven't been nearly as high as usual, right? Like most goals
Even
so far.
I don't think you guys.
Diana Maxwell in 52 games has 42. Highest assist 56 in 52 games for unassisted. Like those like point totals are down for everyone. Hitting a point per game this season is actually going to be an accomplishment, I think.
What were you saying, Ryan, about least goals for, something like that?
I was just saying that New York, Stockholm, and Quebec will probably feature in the top 10 of least goals for as teams. I'm looking at the least goals for list right now. Tied for 10th is 104.
Wouldn't least goals for mean you don't have a lot of goals that you scored?
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Least goals against. That's what I meant.
I like that was weird. I was gonna say, I think
Oh my god. Least goals against. The number one place is 110. All three of these teams could be top 3 at the end of the season in that category.
I don't know if this has been updated because this is a season 49.
Season 49. That's only 2. There's no way there was like the goals.
It's only 2 seasons, 5 seasons.
Dude, Weinstein broke the record for goals against average. I have to imagine that team is probably ahead.
Okay, let's take a look. So that 50, 51, 52, 53.
50.
I'll take a look at.
Yeah, it's 51.
Look at them all.
That he broke the record.
There's no on the list we're currently looking at, though. That's for sure. The 3.
Yeah, Calgary Wranglers 96 goals and 51. Also, actually, fun fact, dude, that Wranglers team won 64 games. Man, the records really need to be edited.
Yep.
Because that team.
I'm glad we're going through this.
Yep.
So technically, Stockholm needs 18.
Yeah, the least goals against in 50 was 118. That is not that's good enough for second.
Wow, kind of, except season 51. Yeah,
that's a really good point, Wilson.
Thank you. I'm not looking at the thing. I can't see where my.
That's okay. I was looking for you, Ryan. Don't even worry about it. Nobody's concerned about it.
Uh-huh.
It's really weird to carry a conversation when you can't see someone's mouth.
So secretly, Chris, all these records have just been popping off like crazy.
Well, the second. So for Stockholm, Stockholm to be second all time in wins would need 18 of their last 20, but can be top 3 with 17, which is still good. Did that Calgary team win the cup either, by the way?
So the Americans in season 52 had 112 goals against at the end of the season, which would put them.
Fun fact, by the way.
Toronto's 118, so they would be like, what did we determine? Third now that would be, right? Because Quebec's second, since you said season 50.
Season 51 Calgary. By the way, fun fact, that Calgary team. So, okay, the 2 best teams in wins ever are Calgary in season 1 and 51, and neither team won the cup.
Wow. Okay.
So technically, the 2 best regular season teams ever never won a cup. Washington capitaled it.
Yeah, we should probably update these records because I think you're right. I think over the past few seasons, we probably, and this season included, there's going to be some things that are historic that needs to be noted.
We'll have to
go through this after season 49, but there obviously are changes there. So yeah, a lot of historic things going on.
Yeah, it's a very historic time in the VHL.
Goals against is also one of them. I mean, Helsinki only has 87, to be fair, which it looks bad by comparison. But I mean, come on, the 87 in 52 games, that's not that bad in the grand scheme of things.
I'm curious where Seattle will rank on the least goals for, because they have 52 in 52 games, and I gotta think that's gotta be close.
Yeah. And what is the goals for? What is the record for most goals for? Like, what are those
goals for?
Because we have again 3 teams who are scoring a lot.
on this list, I mean, again, we can't
Yeah,
guarantee.
and maybe I'm overestimating how much they're scoring, but I mean, 2 teams are above 185 goals already in 52 games.
On this list, it's
The other one's at
416 goals.
Holy freaking mother of what?
I was gonna say, I don't think that
We're
one's
not
been
topping
touched.
that. No.
Because that was the season 5 Seattle team that was, it's the second most wins ever. And they had a lot of Hall of Famers on that team.
I don't think we're featuring on that list. I don't think anyone has.
For those curious on the just how good of an offense that team had, they had, I think, I forget how many Hall of Famers they had on that team, but they had Scotty Campbell, obviously. And I believe that is his record season for goals and points, by the way. Alex McNeil's a Hall of Famer. Brandon Anthony's a Hall of Famer. Dustin Funk's a Hall of Famer. Patrice Renault's a Hall of Famer. I don't know about Danny Tremblay, but he was captain of the team, so he had at least.
I want to say Danny Tremblay was a Hall of Famer.
Can't remember.
I'm going to go back and look through.
And their goalie
the top,
was a Hall of Famer
top
too.
10 in goals for is all above 300. So,
Yeah,
higher than our era of offense.
And that is the year, by the way, that Scotty put up his 190 points. So
none of the featured teams. The latest season is season 20. Nothing after that in the top 10. That'll never change. That's those are way too high.
Yeah,
for us.
So that one will not.
Oh, no, I got it. It's Andrew Finn this year.
Oh, and the least goals for, by the way, Kyle or Chris, was 81. So if Seattle doesn't score,
well, I think that might have been beat since then. But
okay.
I had my Stockholm team that one year had a really bad year.
Oh yeah.
Chris had a couple of years with New York too, where I think you just had Atticus von Braxton.
No, that one I haven't. Well, I mean that one would be updated. You said 81.
81.
Okay.
It was.
I literally just picked a year. In season 51, New York had 76 and Stockholm had 68.
Woo!
51, yeah.
Wait, Chris, that was less than a goal a game.
But lessons learned. Lessons learned. Lessons learned. We might have had less than. We might have had less goals. Some of the least goals.
Seattle's got 52.
But guess what?
Right now.
Yeah, that's true. If they score less than a goal a game for the rest of the season, they are literally at a goal a game. That's not good.
Doable. That's just totally doable.
Their goal differential is minus 100. The problem is that's not even close. The highest goal differential is like over 400, I believe. Or sorry, 237.
Over 400.
Yeah, lowest goal differential, negative 306. You're never going to beat that. Holy crap. That was season 11 Toronto. Season 35 New York had the second most as of that list, though, negative 287.
It's pretty good.
Records are fun.
That was you, right, Chris? Anyway, yeah, records. All right, we're going to wrap this up.
What was me?
That was you, season 35 New York, right?
Sure was, yes.
Yeah, that was negative 287. I'm assuming you were rebuilding.
Yes, that was the first season to rebuild.
Yeah, after like our.
That's the year I signed a whole bunch of guys with really funny names, like You Got Change and
Atticus von Braxton.
And Atticus von Braxton, absolutely, with his 720 goals against average or whatever it was.
It's pretty
good times. It's good times.
Okay, so we're gonna wrap this thing up with the usual. We're gonna pick, since we got the whole gang here. Let's pick 2 storylines. A storyline you think is really good, like it's a positive storyline, and a storyline where you take a player or a team or whatever through the mud. So a good one and a negative. It can be from anything, any conference, whatever, any player, any member. Try to make it sim based if possible, but if you really have something personal you need to say, I'm not going to stop you.
No, I'm not gonna stoop that low. I got this.
I am going to start by giving a positive shout out, essentially, to none other than Pietro Maximov for the Stockholm Vikings. This is a guy that's been well for most of his career. Like, it's easy to forget that he had that really crazy 130-point season, and I think a lot of people, myself included, thought Maximov is going to start to struggle. Like he's not going to be able to output at a high rate like this every season. But the real question mark for me was, will he be able to be consistent enough to make an impact in the sim? And he obviously had the TPE, but last season on Seattle, he had an all right year, but I don't really think he was that much of a standout. He wasn't bad by any means, but Green always has a history of just making players that are pretty quality. I think this season he's doing that for Stockholm. He's obviously a big difference maker in their roster. I think he fits with Kohler to really give you that 1-2 punch that you kind of need from top line players, especially as the second line is not really lighting it up. I mean, Maximov has 37 goals and 40 assists for 77 points in 52 games. That puts him 6th in the league in scoring. He's actually not that far off the current goal leader, Diana Maximov, who has 42. He's 5 goals off. That's not too bad. Good plus minus, low PIM count, as of course. Not much of a hitter, but still making a difference. And obviously Tyson Kohler's also had a good season, has 1 more point than Maximov. But those two have worked really well together. So
yeah, it's a good trade, Chris.
Offensive 1-2 there. Maximov helping out. That's
he also leads the league in shorthanded goals.
Woo!
There you go.
It's a big stat.
Mm-hmm.
Who's going?
I am going to start with my negative. I am going to negatively call out a player who has basically been non-existent in the sim. That is Mohold's goaltender Jackson Weeks. In the last 3 days, he basically might as well have not even shown up. He hasn't blocked a single shot. He hasn't stopped a single puck. He's been basically non-existent on the ice, and I really think that he needs to step it up if he wants to have any sort of a career.
He's an SHL legend, though, man.
But since he's come to the VHL, he hasn't done anything. No. Literally, he hasn't done a thing.
He is kind of old
in the sim.
I have to imagine at this point he's probably 60 years old.
So he's Undertaker? That was his last player, Chris.
I think he played 20 seasons in the SHL or something. He played a pretty lengthy time.
Jackson Weeks, you will rest in peace.
Well then.
That should have been the thumbnail.
Yes, if that's a thumbnail, then I'm going to be using that image instead.
Sick news, bro.
No, that's not good for sick news, bro.
What do you guys think it's a positive to be having a record for a stat that some people love but some people don't want?
Absolutely.
Well, it depends on what the stat is. Is it a positive stat or a negative stat?
Is penalty minutes a positive stat or a negative stat?
Oh, it absolutely is a positive stat.
I thought so too.
Yeah.
I mean, Edwin did build a career around it.
Yeah.
Gutis Patinas, the Riga veteran, has not necessarily on a record pace, but 236 penalty minutes in 52 games this year. To put that into perspective, he has about 80 more penalty minutes than anyone else, and only 4 players in the league have over 100. And again, he's at 236.
That's pretty impressive.
You might ask, how do you get that many? How do you get in to that many penalty minutes? He's won 8 fights this year. And he's been in 10 of them. So he's won 8 of 10 fights.
It's a lot of fights.
That's a lot of fights. And he's been winning them again at a high percentage, unlike Asher Donovan, who's won 1 of 5 fights.
What a scrub.
And Fabio Jokinen has only won 1 of 5 fights. So
those guys really need to up their brawler stance.
There's been a lot of victims of Petinis or Patinas, however you want to pronounce his name.
Penis.
But 8 of 10 fights he's won this year. And I think you have to give some props to a guy who is doing something not a lot of people do. And I mean, he's doing it while also putting up 61 points in 52 games. And also recording 274. Okay, let's just go through this list here. 61 points, 236 penalty minutes, 274 hits, 139 shot blocks.
All as a defenseman, too.
Can you say most well-rounded player in the league? Like MVP?
Yeah. Like if Riga makes the playoffs, what do you think?
Like, don't you kind of think
they could?
In all honesty, don't you actually kind of have
position right now?
Oh my god!
Doesn't he kind of have to be in the slow-bo just because of all the
Riga
stats?
is actually up by 18 points.
Yeah, Ryan, they're making the playoffs. Like that's happening.
He might actually have MVP.
Got this Petinis for MVP. Let's go.
Dude, I'm not even kidding.
No, I know.
Think about it. Think about the teams that like Quebec obviously getting great performances by Sky and New York getting great performances by Halik, and Vikings getting great performances by DeGraff. But I mean, they're also getting great performances by multiple offensive contributors. All of those teams are.
I think there's going to be an argument.
Is Guntis Petnis, like that is that team.
He has to be at least, I think, on the Slovo just because of how many different stats he's producing, and I think he kind of has to be on the MVP voting. I don't think he'll win, but I think you have to give some props to a guy who could very well hit 80 points.
I won it last year.
You have to give credit to a guy who won 80 points, who's probably going to have at least 80 points as a defenseman, who could probably hit 300 penalty minutes, who's going to potentially have close to 350 hits, could have close to 200 shot blocks. I mean, that is like an unheard of thing to be.
He's got 6 game winners. He was the first star 8 times, second star 4 times, third star 2 times.
I mean, he leads all defensemen in goals. He's got 26. He's Braxtoning it in terms of points.
Hell yeah!
In terms of goals. Look at all those hits.
I mean, that's
his hits taken is actually really low.
Yeah, he leads league in shot blocks, hits, penalty minutes, and is third for defenseman in points. He's probably should. I mean, if we're being honest, he should definitely win top D. What's the argument?
Man,
he's 9 points back of first in points for a defenseman. He's only 7 back of Velvet.
Titan Kronos might be the argument, but Kronos only has 22 hits.
Well, I just think he's way more well-rounded than Kronos.
Titan Kronos probably comeback player of the year though.
Man, this
way
is
better than last season.
This is gonna. People like this can win MVP a lot more, like Sky did last season, even though Quebec wasn't like that good, because like
we don't let the GMs pick anymore.
Well, because the players, or sorry, the teams that compete and the players on them, generally it's a team effort. It's more of a team effort, Like I was highlighting Pietro, but like Kohler's been really good for you guys.
Yeah, and like the rest of us haven't been terrible on the second line either. Like
I mean, you literally have 5 players above a point per game, right? And then you have DeGraff on top of that. And I mean, I can't even look at an individual in New York because all that top line is all the leading the lead. They're the top 3 in points. Like that's it. You can't pick any of them. They're all fantastic. Done. Move on. Like I know that a lot of guys hate that. Like I know Streetlight, for example, is going to hate hearing that because it's like, oh, I hate that it's just because there's good players on the team. It's like that's
the whole point of MVP though. Like that's literally
the award, and you can't not
like that's like being like I really hate that Xander Finn can't win top defenseman because he's just forward. Like
man, that's the award. Now that you look at Gutness even more closer, Chris, holy crap, you're right. He's got 50 fucking penalty 5s, fucking minutes worth of penalty 5s.
Did you just refer to 5-minute penalties as penalty 5s?
So it's 10 fights.
That's the new name of this episode. VHL Pajodcast penalty 5s.
That's my hot lingo, yo. Okay, so I'm gonna move to my negative shout out. And
we're doing positive. Oh, fucking Christ! All right,
you do something. You already did your negative.
Yeah, but I have to do a positive now. Fuck this.
Yeah. We'll end on your positive. Just
because I do have a good one actually. Yeah. I just thought of one.
I'm gonna switch.
I'll bring
I'm not really gonna switch, but in Chris's vein, motherfucker Sharp, Jardy, the fuck are you doing? You're built as the fighter, and yeah, I know he's got 4 wins and 6 total fights, but where's the other guy's got 10? Get out there, get hounding. I mean, and I know he's trying. You know how I know? He just updated, or he did not that long ago. And what did he put it into? Fucking fighting. So if he's going to be putting it into fighting, I better see the results on the ice. Or I'm going to bench him and call up Axel Snittelgaard. And he'll play forward. I don't
care. Sorry? Do you want to try that one again? Cindergaard.
Cinderella Garden.
You said Snittelgaard. Cinderella Garden. That's a pretty good
That's his name. Yeah, so Jardy just put 24 fucking TP into fighting. So he's now at 88 fighting. So I better see it. Where is this impact? What is Gutens fighting at? What is Pretendiness?
73.
Pretend.
What
is this?
73 is what his fighting is.
And Gutens has more points.
Mm-hmm.
To be fair, Sharp is a rookie, and a forward, not a defenseman. And Gutens is the only one on his team. So of course he fights. He fights with everybody. And he's always on the ice. But still, Jardy. Get it together.
I just realized that Hedgehog always has fucking weird names for his players. Benjamin Zeptenbergs, Guntis Petnis, Friedemans Kriegers. Fucking whatever. I don't give a shit what his name is.
Also, Jardy's actually not having that bad of a season from a statistical standpoint. I was just
whatever. Fuck Jardy. Chris?
Wait, he's got 28 points in 52 games. Never mind. Listen, it may not be Logan like bad, but it's still pretty low.
Skin like.
In a,
Yep. Chris?
in a season with John Locke out there.
Chris, hit us with the good stuff.
I once said that no player who plays as much as this man does should not record a goal. But once again, he is on pace to not record a goal.
Is it our boy?
I believe last year he scored a goal in his last game, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, this year Bobby Digital's got
game.
0 goals in 52 games.
56 assists.
He's got 56 assists.
Hitting us up with that good stuff.
0 goals.
It's easy to get that assist count when he's got 3 forwards on the roster that all almost have 40
to
goals
be fair.
or more.
There is no to be fair. Let's be real here. He has 73 experience. You need to be scoring a lot more goals than that. When you
even commented in a thread when we got shut out on the game. He's just like, "Fuck this shit. I think I need to start adding to scoring."
His passing is 99. How do you not at some point just pass the puck off someone's skate and go in?
Yeah.
Like,
how do you not just pass it into the net?
Accidental goals. Your passing is too good.
So it's just an unacceptable number. I'd probably be trading him to Stockholm. I mean, you can probably. I mean, how many players on Stockholm have more than
96 PIMs, though, guys? 96 PIMs.
All of the players in Stockholm have more than 0 goals.
Also, I'm sure we have some bots that have more than 0 goals.
Also, Bobby Digital has 31 shots on net. That's it.
That's too many shots.
Even motherfucker Sharp has more shots than that.
He's in the box all game.
Yeah, he's got 96. Like, you could probably combine all our CPU player shots, and it would equal more than what Bobby Digital has shot.
Stockholm Center 3 has 2 goals.
How many shots, though? That's the real question.
10.
Yeah. Okay. So,
how many shots does he have, you said?
31.
Our computers combined for 40, I believe.
Yeah, exactly. His shooting is 40. Or scoring is literally 40. It's no higher.
Is there any way to make it lower? Like, he should be able to do that.
No.
Like, Stockholm Center 3 plays 3 minutes a game. Like, how do you not?
If we let him do that, that actually might make his player better.
He should have to spend TPE to remove attribute points.
Yeah, because remember, that has a high impact. The difference between the attributes has a high impact on the decision-making formula. So if we make him more of a passer, that means, if we reduce his scoring, that means he's always passing and never accidentally shooting or never just deciding to throw a shot in net, which means that Maxwell, unassisted, and Lincoln are shooting more, which means they're going to score more. So we don't. Might as well just leave it at 40.
You're right. Okay, so I'm gonna do mine.
You'd rather he raised that motherfucker, like.
I mean, I would, but I kind of like the idea of him getting 0 goals in a season.
He'll never do it. He's going to get a goal.
If he plays against backups.
I don't think he gets a goal this year. I really don't. Call him now. He doesn't.
He hasn't added to it. I thought he did, but he didn't. He joked about it.
Yeah. The next sim, he's going to score a hat trick.
Adding to leadership and puck handling and checking.
Next year, he should put his scoring to 99 and see if he can lead defensemen in goals.
He puts his scoring to 99, leaves his passing high. Just fucking.
You should move him to forward. Put his scoring to 99, see if he can lead the league in goals. Oh, there you go.
Move him to forward. I'm going to take my 1D and move him to forward. All right, guys. 0D time. We did it. We three-peated with. I'll do that if we.
Move a forward to D. No big deal. I do it all the time.
If we three-peat, we'll do 0D. We'll just load up on forward again. Jesus, fully, and we'll go for a 4-peat with no defenseman.
No, Ryan. Then you have to move. You have to move MT Power.
Why?
Forward.
I can't.
What do you mean? Yes, you can.
Well, I'd also have enough forwards. I'm only losing 1 next season.
Yeah, fuck it. Why not have seven forwards, 1 goalie?
Probably. Streetlight's still kind of up in the air, but
all right.
Probably.
Anyways, enough about fucking Bobby Digital. We're gonna move on to the best player that's ever been created in the VHL. Recent create, Yeselmania's Akakuzki. A player.
I'm not even gonna try it.
Oh, it's not even. No, have you read it though? Like, it's terrible. So this is a player that he's updating based on a randomizer, and he's going to be doing point tasks or not doing point tasks based on a randomizer. When he goes to free agency, I guess he's probably going to go through with a randomizer. Motherfucker's going to be random as fuck forever.
I love it. I love it.
This player's amazing. So far, he has 45 skating, 46 discipline, 47 face-offs as a... I don't even know what position he plays.
Hopefully center.
Hopefully not. 45 fighting, 45 defense, 48 penalty shot.
If he makes this guy into a
Wait,
Hall of Fame player,
does he randomize every TPE, like every
he
one?
randomizes everything, dude.
44
Yeah, but,
scoring,
like,
42 checking,
does he
43
grab
puck
10
handling.
TPE and go, what attribute do I throw this to? Or does he go, one
Yes,
TP?
he goes,
that's
each
just
one, I think
one
he
TP.
does it.
Okay, how much time do you have? How do you update that? That's like the longest,
Whatever.
Anyway. I guess you just have to randomize 10 things, or however much TP you're totally going to add. Like, I guess you would just need to put every attribute into a randomizer and then run that like X amount of times based on how many TP you were adding.
Mhm.
And then go from there.
Yeah, exactly. So that's amazing.
Yeah, it needs to inform us how he's doing this. We want to know about the random process.
I will say, no offense to
But I trust it.
I'm definitely not drafting him.
And you know the irony? This is going to be the best player he's ever created.
Oh, absolutely.
No, it won't.
No, and
Dude.
just to make matters fun for him, he built a random player, and the first thing that happened after he built the random player, won the lottery. He mentioned that he won a doubles week, and he even mentioned that in the thread. His exact thing was creates a player whose success will be purely determined by luck, wins a doubles week 45 minutes later in a random lottery. That's a good sign. That's the gods are speaking favorably.
Lady luck, dude. All right.
One of these times, he's just going to be like, that's weird. I randomized it 8 times, and it just came up scoring every time. Fuck, my player's good now.
Yep. It's going to get real stupid when he starts getting into like into the stats that are like divided by 4, and he's just like throwing like one stat in there every like 2 weeks. Like, oh.
What if this turns him into like what Guntis Pentis is, but like even better, like the most well-rounded player of all time? Gets good goals, good assists, fights,
Tons of shots.
hits, shots, blocks, gets good penalty shots, wins faceoffs despite not playing
Being a
actually at the
center.
position because people get kicked out. Puts himself at center anyway. Like just everything. Then plays defense.
Yeah, he's a defenseman, by the way, with his faceoffs, just so that everyone knows.
Okay, defensemen take faceoffs in the sim sometimes, though.
Occasionally, but not enough
Often
to be worth adding.
Yeah, like he'll in a game, you'll be like, what the fuck? Why did NYID do 1 of 2 on faceoffs? Okay,
we should probably check if Guntis has won faceoffs this year.
Yeah. Let's see how he's doing in faceoffs so far.
No, he hasn't taken a faceoff. No taking faceoff.
Well, can he really hope to keep up with Key?
However, he's 1 for 1 in the penalty shot.
I wonder if that's how he picked his name. Was by randomizer.
Maybe randomizing every letter.
But like, how would you know when to stop?
Who?
Yeah,
he did. He randomized probably, I think, how many letters in each, and then probably randomized.
Yeah, like here's an example for you guys. Seattle D1 has taken 97 faceoffs.
He randomized C and K a lot.
I don't know why Seattle D1 has taken 97 faceoffs, but he has, and 37.11%. So, sometimes defensemen take faceoffs. So in the event that ever happens, this guy's set. You got it. You got the guy you want to
watch. The fucking sim will end up putting the other defenseman in the faceoff circle.
Yeah, he just dominates. He's 80%, just 80% with 100 draws. Like, what's happening? Yep. Those happen to be all the plays that they score on too.
Yep, you got that right, Wilson.
Just
now it's just your giant 5 head. Nobody can see you.
Just
you're not saying anything.
I know. I'm being trolly. I was literally trying to listen. I'm trying to keep this thing at a position that it sees me, but it doesn't like me. Anyway,
I can't imagine why.
Anyway, yeah, I'm not attractive. I'm not camera friendly, I should say. Sorry.
It has nothing to do with your attractivity. It's all your personality.
It's about pizzazz.
It's about style.
Okay. That was our negative. Oh, Kyle, you needed to give a positive to round us
That
out.
was the positive. That's the greatest thing ever. The Akakex key.
Oh, yeah, sorry. You were talking about Aketskiskis.
It's a good name.
This has been the VHL. This has been the VHL Pajodcast. Find out what Kyle actually names it at the end when it's uploaded. For Miller, Power, Snow, Chris, Ryan, Kyle, I've been Steve. Goodbye.